Okay, yẹn máa wà ń bẹ̀
I
always.
was I was engaging their comments.
Okay, okay. All right, we are very sorry for the break in transmission, and that has been sorted already. Now, we are going straight to the section C, which is report writing. You are going to answer only one question on report writing, just one question. So, basically, you just predict the aspect of the report writing you are going to answer a question from. All right, we are very sorry for the break in transmission. All right. So, like we have here, the first question is define report writing. Now, in most of the exam, we always ask you to define report writing. You should know what reports mean. And the basic thing you should know about report is that, number one, it is always about the report, the result of a finding, the result of a research work. That is what a report is. Now, most of the time, it is always a written document. Now, although we have some report writing that are, we have some reports that are oral reports, but in most cases, a report is always a written document. Now, what kind of written document? A written document that presents information, analysis and findings on a specific topic or issue. Now, it is often a formal or a structured writing, a structured form of writing. Then the report can be used to inform, persuade, document events, or give results of a research work or investigations. That is it. So it is always defined as a written document that presents information, the discussion of the result of a particular research work or some other things like that. So learn to define a report. That will give you, some of the times, that will give you 3 marks for report. But any question that is asking you to define report will not be the only question there. It will be one part of the question. It means the question will have about 2 or 3 legs. Now, in this case, now it has 2 legs. The first leg, define report. Then the second leg, identify and discuss any 6 characteristics of a report. That's features of a report. Now, if it is a report, number 1, it must be clear. That is, must have a clear purpose. Now, whatever you are presenting as a report must be clear to whoever is going to read it. That is one characteristic of a very good report. It must have a clear purpose. Now, it must be, the purpose must be objective, now, which can guide the content and the structure of the document. So it must be clear. Then number 2, now the structure of the report must be formal. That is, a report must have a formal structure. It's typically a document that will follow a standard structure. Now, it's not just written anyhow. It has procedure of writing it. It has a step-by-step presentation. So it must be a formal structure. Then number 3, the report must be objective. That is very, very important. Your report must be objective. When we say objectivity, it means that the information you are giving in a report must not be biased. It must not be based on your own opinion. It must be based on the result of your finding. So that is what objectivity means. So report should be objective, unbiased, presenting facts and evidence-based information. That is what a report is. Now, don't forget, number 1, I've said it must have a clear purpose. Number 2, it must be formal in structure. Number 3, it must be objective. That is objectivity. Now, then number 4, it must be accurate. The information you are giving in any report must be accurate. That is accuracy. Accuracy is also a very important feature of any good report. Any information you are giving in a report must be accurate. Then a report must be concise. Hey, you don't have to use the whole day to explain your findings. Present it in a very logical manner and a very short manner. So it must be concise. It's not something that must waste the reader's time. So it must be concise. Then it must have a very good organization. Your report must be well organized. Now, what should come first should not be what you should put last. What you should put last must not be what you are going to say first. So you must present it using a very good organization. Now, those 6 things are very important. Number 1, again, it must have a clear purpose. Number 2, it must have a formal structure. Number 3, it must be objective. Number 4, it must be accurate. The information must be accurate. Number 5, it must be concise. Number 6, it must be organized clearly. That it must have a very good organization then. Okay, that's number 6. So those are the characteristics of very good reports. Then the next question is number 2. That's 2A. Choose a topic for your final year project and write out a detailed outline by the different chapters. Now, one thing that's also important to understand here is how to write an outline for your report. Now, when we ask you to write outline for your report, we want you to go about it specifying every aspect of the part of the report, starting from the first part of the report, which is the introduction. Now, I will go through the different stages of the report now. When you are writing your report, your introduction should come first. You are introducing the problem that you want to solve. Okay, at this juncture, I want to tell you that whenever you are presenting a report, it means you are trying to solve a problem. See, most of the organization where they has an employee to give a report, it means they have identified a particular problem and they have asked them to work, a particular team in the organization to work on it. And after working on that problem, they must come up with a solution. That solution is what they are going to present in the report. Now, and the report is not going to contain only the solution. You must tell us, that is, you must tell your audience, you must tell whosoever has given you that assignment, you must tell them how you go about your findings, the method you use to collect your data, that is the methodology, then how you analyze your data, you must specify it, how you arrive at a particular conclusion, you must specify it. So those are the things that must be in your report, although it is always based on your finding, the solution you have found to the problem. But notwithstanding, you must also present to us how you have gone about the findings, so step by step. So now, in this question now, choose a topic for your final year project and write out a detailed outline by the different chapters. Yeah, so you're going to take the chapters one by one. Now, any report writing will have at least 5 chapters. 5 chapters. So the first chapter is the introduction. Now, the introduction will contain the background of the study, the statement of the problem, the research questions you ask before you go on the research, then the significance of the study. So those 4 parts of the introduction are very important. Your introduction will have, again, I want to say that again, the introduction will have background to the study, statement of the problem, research questions, and significance of the study. So that is your introduction. That's chapter 1. Then chapter 2 will be the literature review. Now, this aspect is always very important. Now, whatever problem you are trying to solve, there will always have been similar problem before that some people already worked on. Now, you are going to present the works of those people that have done something related to that before. That is what you have in your literature review. So, in literature review, the first thing you do is the overview of the issue you are working on. Now, let's attempt the question properly now. It is for you to choose a topic. Let's think of a topic. Let's say the impact of social media on mental health. The impact of social media is very common now to everybody. There's nobody that is not on social media. Now, if a topic is the impact of social media on mental health, in young adults. Now, that is your topic. Now, the introduction to that topic will give us background to the study, statement of the problems, research questions, and significance of the study. Now, those are the things. Then, the literature review will be the overview of social media usage among young adults. Now, you go to different write-ups about social media among young adults, what people have said about it before, the several occasions where people have had some arguments on social media and some people already wrote something about it. So review it and bring it up. Then the relationship between social media use and mental health, theoretical framework and models and some other things like that. That is if your topic is social media, effect of social media on mental health. Now, the number 3 chapter is methodology. That is chapter 3, methodology. Methodology is basically what method have you used to gather your data, the information. Now, when we say data, data means the information you have gathered concerning a particular issue. So, your data collection must go through a particular method. That's what we call methodology. Now, in methodology, the first thing is research design. Then you go to your sampling strategy. How have you been able to sample your data, the way you collect your data? Is it random sampling or any other way you might have gone about it? So, sampling strategy. Then data collection method. How have you been able to collect your data? What method did you use? Now, we have primary data, secondary data. Now, your primary data, how do you collect it? Maybe you have designed interview. You have designed questionnaire that you are going to distribute. Now, how are you going to distribute it? How are you going to select the people you are going to give it to? Is it market women? Is it office holders? Is it students? Is it okay? If you are going to give it to several people, now how many students you are going to give it to? Students. How many students are you going to give it to? You are going to give it to market women. How many market women are you going to choose? So that is how to distribute your questionnaire if you are using questionnaire. Sometimes you may decide to use interview. That is, to go from one person to another to interview them on a particular thing. That is another method of data collection. Now, whatever method you have used, you have to state it. Then data analysis technique. How have you been able to analyze your data? That is still on chapter 3. Then chapter 4 is your result. Your result is going to present how you went about your findings. You present your findings, then you analyze your data, then you discuss the data. Then you interpret your result. Now, we may not understand your result. You are the one to interpret how you come about your result. Then the implication of the result. What is this result suggesting? That is the implication. What does it suggest? It suggests that social media has a lot of impact on mental health of young adults. That is what your result has brought about. So you have to discuss and interpret your result for us. Then implication of the study. In the implication of the result, what does it mean? Then you are going to tell us some limitations of the study. When you went about the study, what are the limitations? Then before you present your conclusion in chapter 5. So your chapter 5 is conclusion. Now, in the conclusion, you are going to give us summary of your findings. You summarize it, then you give us recommendation. You recommend to us, and that is the end of any report writing. That's the essence. You are going to recommend solution. Then your solution will also include you suggesting some people still working on a particular aspect of the research that you have not touched, which is also very necessary. So in the course of your finding, you find out that there's another area that your research must have touched, but it will waste your time or some other reasons. Then you can recommend that some people should try and work on that aspect. So your recommendation is very important. Now, what are we saying? When they ask you to give outline, your outline must touch every aspect of the chapter. Just know that you are talking about 5 chapters of your report. That is chapter 1, which is the introduction, chapter 2, which is the literature review, chapter 3, which is the methodology, that is method of data collection, then chapter 4, which is the discussion of your results. Now chapter 5, the discussion and the conclusion. So, and the conclusion will give us the actual results, which is the solution to the problem you are finding. But don't forget, report is giving results about your finding concerning a particular problem and the solution you have been able to come out with. That is what report means. So section C has another question there. That's 2B. Explain the importance of bibliography in project writing. Now, bibliography is where you are going to reference some of the literature you reviewed. Then, when you were explaining or analyzing your data, some write-up that you cited and some books that you read. So you are going to quote in the body of your report, but after the report, you are going to have them stated in your bibliography. Now, what is the importance of this? It will make your work to be credible. That is, it is not just your idea. You contacted some other sources for you to compile your idea, so it is going to give it credibility. Now, that is number 1 importance of bibliography. Then number 2, it establishes credibility. Like I said, it will make it credible. Now, number 3, it facilitates further research. Now, when you cite some authors, now it may open the eyes of some other researchers to go into some other research work as a result of that. Then to avoid, that is another importance, to avoid plagiarism. Now, a lot of work has copyright protection on it. Now, if you just use the work of a person without referencing it, now you may be arrested for plagiarism. So in order to avoid that, referencing is very, very important. Then don't forget, when you acknowledge a particular source, it will give your work credibility. So those are some of the importance of bibliography in project report writing. Now, another thing that you must prepare to do is to write short notes. We are going to give you certain terms in report writing, and we are going to ask you to write on about 3 or 4 or 5 of them. Now, some of them are in number 3. Write short notes on any 5 of the following. Okay, special report, informal report, project report, progress report, then abstract. Okay, so basically this question emphasizes types of report. We have special report, informal report, project report, progress report. So once we have informal report, then it means we have a formal report. Most of the reports are formal, but when we have informal report, it means a report that does not have any official connection. That is, it is not commissioned. That report is not commissioned by anybody. You just feel like writing the reports in your own way. So it's an informal report. It's always brief and unofficial, and you are not submitting it to anybody for official reason. So that is informal report. But when it is formal report, it is an official commission. Now somebody or a particular team wants you to work on a particular thing and you give them report. That is formal report. Then project report. Any report that has you to give the update on a particular report on project work is a project report. When they ask you to give project report, it means a particular project is ongoing and they want you to give a report on that project. Now, in that case, a project report may be a progress report. A progress report means you are giving us the status of that project at that time. So that project, where has it gotten to? Now, where did you start from? Where has it gotten to? Then, what are the challenges you are having now? So that is the sense of progress report. A progress report is a document that provides regular updates on the status of a particular project. It is still on project report. Then abstract. Your abstract is the summary, the part of your project report, the part of your report that is giving the summary of whatever you have to do in that report. So it's a brief summary of a research paper or article or document. It provides an overview of the main points, the methodology, the findings, allowing the readers to quickly understand the content of the project report and the relevance of it. So abstract is always very short. In some cases, they give you a specific number of words that you must write as your abstract. That is, you must present it as very brief as possible. So that is what abstract means. So there are other key terms that we may ask you to explain in such question when we ask you to write a short note on. So it may be maybe primary data. For example, if we ask you to write question on primary data, so primary data means the information you get from sources around you, maybe through interview, through questionnaire, through group participation in any finding. So those are primary data. Your secondary data will be any journal, any article you visited, any book you read, and some other things like that. Okay, so those are your secondary data. Now, make sure you understand meaning of reports. I want to recap that. Meaning of reports, types of reports, characteristics of a very good report, and stages in writing report, then part of a report. So part of report is also very important. Like I've told you, it has 5 parts. A standard report must have 5 parts: the introduction, the literature review, the methodology, the resource, and the discussion. So that is it. Okay, do we have question? Any question here? Can you please explain reports again? I wasn't online when you started. No. Please, sir, can you give a brief explanation on the schematic report so we can have little understanding of it? Okay, I'll talk on that. Please, sir. Now, these questions, are they recent or? Now, I think I've done that already. Please recap on reports. I've said it. All you have to do on report is, 1, you should know the meaning of report. Number 2, when it is a report, what are the features, what are the characteristics? If it is a good report, a well-structured report, what are the characteristics? Then, what are the various parts of a report? Now, what you should do first, then the next thing, and the last thing. So, the part of a report. Then, method of data collection. I've told you, you have sources of data collection like primary source and secondary source. Now, primary source is when you design questionnaire, when you structure interview, when you participate with a group. For example, you are finding out about a particular group of people, then you can join them in some other things they are doing to get your information rather than interviewing them. So when you participate with them, your information is going to be original. They are not going to tamper with it, whatever they are. So if you are doing interviews, sometimes people may know that you want to use the information or something, they may tamper with the information, but when you participate, you see it exactly like it happens. So it's a method of data collection. So that is still primary data collection. But when you want to collect your data, using primary source, secondary source, then it means you are not basing it on what is already existing. You are going to base it on what you really want to find out, what is new. Now, that is when you interview people, that is when you send questionnaire. So the secondary data collection would be you going to read journals and some other documents as regards that. Okay, sir, please go over the following reports mentioned above. Okay, I will do that. Where are they? Now, explain the importance of, write short note on any 5 of the following. I said most of them are types of reports. Special report. A special report is a detailed document that provides in-depth analysis and recommendation on a specific issue or topic. When it is a special report, it means it is specific. For example, there is a case of armed robbery in Bodija on Monday. Now, the governor may sanction the commissioner of police to present a detailed report about the robbery incident on your finding about a particular project work. It's a project report. A project report is a document that provides an overview of a project's progress and the achievements and the challenges in that project. It is used to evaluate project performance and inform future project planning. That is the essence of project report. Then the progress report. Progress report most of the time is also about an ongoing project. When you are asked to give a progress report on a particular project, it means you are going to give for and when a report is formal report, it means it is a commissioned report that you are going to give the result or the about the finding to a particular body or a particular committee or a team or something like that. So that is a formal report. Then we may have like somebody asks schematic report or something like that. Now, some reports may be a routine report where you submit a report on quarterly or yearly or biannually and so on. So now it has become a routine that there must be a report at the end of the month on a particular thing, or at the end of the year on a particular thing. That is why some company will always give annual financial report of the organization. So that's another type of report. And I think you understand that, sir. Please go over the. Okay. Is surveying research a primary source? I don't understand what you mean by that question. Okay, if you are commissioned to do a survey, now the data collection, yes, most of the results you have to use primary source of data collection to gather your information. So in surveying research, now data collection may involve primary data collection. Okay, is there any difference between bibliography and reference, sir? Now, there is one aspect of your course outline that talks about referencing style, that is citation style, using maybe APA or MLA. Now, in some reports, it may be specified that you must use a specific citation style, either APA or MLA. But in most cases, we have seen cases where APA is always recommended as referencing style. I think for your school project reports, you should understand the actual format, that is the actual citation format or style that they always require you to use. Every institution has its requirement for citation style. So just for you to understand which one they want you to use. But in most cases, they ask you to use APA. Any other question? Now, for those of you that joined the that joined the online lecture late, so I want to tell you again that the exam is going to be in 3 sections. Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3. Section 1 is correspondence. You are going to write letter and memo. Section 2 is comprehension and interpretation, which is going to be based on logic. That's logical reasoning. And then Section C is going to be based on report writing. Very simple. The exam is going to be very simple. Just go aspect is report writing. So you're going to answer questions on report. Actually, we will not ask you to write a complete report. That's not possible. In any exam, we are not going to ask you to write a complete report, but we are going to ask you to answer questions on some parts of report, meaning of report, types of report. I'm emphasizing that characteristics of a report, then some basic terms we use in report. We may ask you to write short notes on those. Now, I think you should not find any one of them difficult. They are all very simple for you. Is citation the same as referencing? Now, when you cite, it means you are quoting a particular author to present your fact. You are quoting a particular author to present your fact. You are citing that person. And when you cite somebody, you are going to tell us the name of the document, that is the name of the book, the publisher, and the year. So, for example, when you are writing, you say Odebumi 2022. Odebumi 2022, you have cited that person, you write the name of the author, then you quote the year of publication. That is citation. But when you get to referencing, any book you have cited, you are now going to give the full detail of that book, maybe article or journal. So the name of the author, year of publication, place of publication. Those are the 3 aspects of it that are very important. So that is when you are referencing. So, but when you are citing, now the citation style you are using will make you write in a way. For example, the way you cite a journal is different from the way you cite a book. Is different from the way you cite a film. Sometimes you may cite a film in your report. Sometimes you may cite a book in your report. Sometimes you may cite a journal in your report. So the way you cite each of them is different from one to another. So that is citation. But referencing is when you write the full form, the author, the publisher, the year of publication, and so on. That is for referencing. Okay. All right. I think there are no questions again to answer. But here, the channel will still be on. You can still put questions and we give you answers. But at that time, it's not going to be audio. It's going to be comments. It's going to be in the comment section. Okay, I will take that as the last question. How long should each section, like introduction, methodology, etc., be? Now, the only thing you should ensure is that conciseness, quality of a good report. you must be concise. Nobody will tell you the actual size except for your abstract. It is only in abstract they give you the number of words that your abstract must contain. But for introduction or methodology, nobody will give you the exact number of words that you should use. But you must just make sure that you obey the principle of conciseness. That is, your report must be concise. That is what you should ensure. I think that answers your question. Okay, my great scholars, this has taken us to the end of the lecture series for GNS 302. I wish you best of the luck in your exams, and I want to see more of your comments. Even after the exam, you can come back here to put up your comments. If this lecture has been very helpful in any way, please share your comments and make sure you always subscribe to this channel, because we'll be putting some educative items in the channel for you to always visit. So whenever we put anything on the channel, if you have subscribed already, it will show immediately. It will give you notification immediately. So please do that, and make sure you give back your feedback as comments here. Thank you, and I wish you success, good success. Good night, everyone.